Okay, welcome back. So I find that the less visually organized drawing is generally the one that's a little bit harder to enhance with paint, but that's okay. So I'm going to start with this, and I can do a lot of different things with color to bring certain elements out or to push certain elements back. And I think that there's a lot of ways to approach this. You can look for shapes and sort of see different items embedded within this. So you could take this into a direction that's a little less abstract. Like you could say like, oh, I see a bird here, or I see a whale here, or I see a feather here, or something like that. That's totally a great way to handle this, and we may revisit that later on. But I think for now I'm just interested in finding some shapes that sort of satisfy my eye in this. And right now I like this kind of ellipsis. I like this ellipsis. And I think I like some of these sort of third shapes off to the side. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I'm going to start by kind of waking up and preserving these larger shapes that I know I'm gravitating to. And I can do that by working with a slightly different color. So while these are green, I'm going to push these into that sort of red-orange family with my watercolor. And the reason I'm doing that is as I continue to use green in the rest of this piece, these will start to pop forward. They'll start to advance a little bit in the space. And whatever I paint green or blue will start to sort of recede in the space. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of just coloring within my lines, but not all of my lines. Like I'm selecting certain lines to form the boundaries of that shape that I want to preserve. And they're the lines that I've drawn. So I could choose any of them to sort of skip over and include within this shape. And I could choose any of the rest of them to sort of form things that are outside or inside the boundaries of that shape. You can work wet paint into wet paint, and as you know, you'll get these nice bleeds. The watercolor will run together. So if you work quickly enough, you'll start to get that. And this red is actually the same color as the color above it. The color above it is just a little more diluted. So I'm really just picking out different shapes within my shape. And I don't have to do it that way. I could paint all of this one color if I wanted. Again, my decisions are really informed by a sort of, if it feels good, just do it approach to this painting. I'm keeping it predominantly orange, but not exclusively in that red-orange family. Picking up some yellows and other colors that are warm. And a warm color is, I define warm color as anything that you would find in the campfire. If you look at a flame, you would see red, you'd see orange, you'd see some yellows, even some sort of greenish colors possibly, but you won't really get into the blue end of the spectrum. And that blue end of the spectrum, things that you would find in the lake, are your cool colors. Which makes a certain amount of sense if you think about it. So, I've defined one of these larger shapes in my environment, and I'm going to go on and enhance another one of those. I'm going to sort of stick to similar colors, reuse some of the colors. in my paint set that relate to the first ones that I put down. And you'll see I'm not being really precise about staying in the lines in general within my shape, but I am being kind of precise about staying within that larger outline that defines the shape altogether. There really are no rules with this aspect of the project. You can fill these in any way you please. You don't even have to use watercolor if you don't feel like it. But I really wanted to do sort of some larger, more extensive journaling projects that do involve watercolor, so that's why I keep coming back to them for this class. And you'll notice I'm not washing my brush as much between colors, and this is because all of these are sort of a harmonious conglomeration that I do want to run together, that it's okay if any of these touch each other. I'm going to get a just a color that enhances the qualities of the colors that I've chosen, the color scheme that I've chosen within these shapes. And I think, you know, we like odd numbers compositionally. Our brains just like that certain amount of things not being perfectly balanced. So I'm going to enhance that. And I think I found the shape I want to fill in here, which is just this kind of leaning boomerang shape, this kind of weird aerodynamic little shape here embedded in this. And just as the size and the quality of this shape is a little different, I'm going to enhance that difference by making the colors more intense, a little brighter. And in fact, I kind of like how it sort of has a little tail that kind of bends this way. So I'm going to really just follow the contours of this, even though they're very weird. I am going to wash my brush because this red is turning very orange. Let's add a little pink to this, actually. Going to change the quality of that. Oh, that's fine. So I'm going to let this dry, and while it does, I'm going to move on and do a similar thing on the opposite page.